and as people join in. So first, I'll go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Shilpa Nawal. I am in Virginia Commonwealth University, assistant professor in Dental Public Health and Policy Department. I'm going to be your chair for this session today, and a couple of reminders before we start. So sessions are recorded for viewing in hybrid meeting platform on demand. Anybody who has a camera or you are on unmute may be captured as part of this recording. We encourage all attendees who feel comfortable to turn on their cameras to engage with speakers today, but remain muted if you're not presenting, and there will be time for discussion within the session where attendees will be able to ask questions by raising their hand or by unmuting or using the reactions tab. Questions may also be placed in Zoom chat window, and I'll be monitoring them and using them and sharing them with the speakers. Closed captioning is available by clicking the live transcript button in the bottom menu. If you experience any technical difficulties while attending the session, please click the support icon located in the bottom right corner of the pages within the virtual experience platform. And then thank you so much for joining us today here. And we'll start with our first speaker. Our first speaker is Mohammed Abu Samak. I'm sorry if I pronounced it wrong, but he's going to present, his topic is chronotherapy in dentistry, a scoping review. Please take it away.
All right, thank you very much. Just please let me know if you can see my presentation. All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Mohammed Abu Samak. I'll be talking today about chronotherapy in dentistry, a scoping review. Circadian rhythms last about 24 hours, and these rhythms adjust us to the world by preparing our brain and other tissues to perform very different, often incompatible functions appropriate to the anticipated day and night. All right. So major aspects of our physiology and metabolism, including processes relevant to oral health and dentistry, such as healing, inflammation, nociception, are robustly controlled by the circadian rhythm. Chronotherapy is an emerging field to improve the therapeutic efficacy and decrease side effects of medical interventions in the context of the circadian rhythm. It means that restricting medications to a certain time of the day to have better outcome. The circadian clock regulates the expression of several therapeutic targets and proteins that play a key role in drug metabolism, thus influencing the efficacy and pharmacokinetics. As a matter of fact, studies have demonstrated that more than 80% of FDA-approved drugs might show day and night variation of their mRNA expression levels and corresponding functions. For example, antihypertensive drugs at night have shown to have better control for blood pressure. Also, buccal asthma medications have time-dependent and they are different throughout the day and night. So why are we conducting a scoping review in chronotherapy in the field of dentistry? First, circadian rhythms strongly influence overall physical and mental health. In fact, the disrupted circadian clock has been considered a risk factor for cancer, diabetes, neurodegeneration, and many other health disorders. Second, oral health is thought to be a gateway reflection of one's general health, well-being, and quality of life. And poor oral health has been constantly associated directly and indirectly with systematic disease, malnutrition, and mental health disorders. Third, oral health, including dentistry, is a multidimensional discipline that comprises a wide range of pathologies, surgical and non-surgical interventions, and rehabilitations. Therefore, it's unsurprising that a healthy and synchronized circadian rhythm is essential in maintaining proper oral health and craniofacial health. And it's reasonable also to assume that chronotherapy in such field is promising. Despite that, we're unable to locate any review articles that synthesize existing evidence in chronotherapy regarding oral health outcomes or its application in dental practice. And a synthesis of available literature is of importance because peripheral clocks are evidently present in oral mucosa, enamel, dental pulp, periodontium tissue, bone, thus influencing oral epithelium, salivary gland, hemostasis, and tooth development. Moreover, dysregulated circadian clock components in focus have been linked to oral cancer development, significant oral health problems, such as decay and gum disease. So for these reasons, this scoping review aimed to systematically map the research carried out regarding chronotherapy in dentistry, as well as to identify any existing gaps in knowledge. Our research question was, what is known from the literature about application of chronotherapy in dentistry? So we conducted a comprehensive literature search using these online databases, identifying 3,475 articles, and were reviewed by 2 independent blinded reviewers. Only original animal or human peer-reviewed studies were included. References were excluded if they had no abstract, were not in the field of dentistry, had no time intervention methodology, or did not mention chronotherapy. As such, 20 articles were included, 10 were clinical trials, 5 were cohorts, and 5 were animal studies. 4 original areas of research has emerged: studies on cancer, head and neck cancer, chemotherapy and radiotherapy, orthodontic forces and tooth movement, local anesthesia, and finally prosthodontic treatments and surgery. Starting with chemotherapy and radiotherapy, all these medications alone or in combination are very common using to treating head and neck cancer, and these medications will evaluate it in terms of therapeutic efficacy and adverse effects. For instance, cisplatin at 6 p.m., cisplatin or cisplatin fusion for 12 hours of peak delivery at 4 p.m. has shown to have superior therapeutic outcome with less side effects. Similarly to radiotherapy in the morning was associated with less side effects, for example, oral mucositis. And the reason behind this is that the circadian system not only modulates anti-cancer medications through drug metabolism and detoxification, but also can regulate integral molecular processes such as cell cycle, DNA repair, and apoptosis, which are very important to anti-cancer successful treatment. This is also applicable to radiotherapy, where some of phases of cell cycle are more resistant to radiation. Moving on to orthodontic force and tooth movement, all studies were conducted on rats, were done in the same lab in Japan. These studies revealed that restricting orthodontic forces to the resting phase of these animals would achieve better outcome. So let's translate to human. So it means that when we restrict orthodontic treatments to nighttime, full 12 hours at night, would be compatible to continuous all-day orthodontic treatment and would cause less damage to periodontal tissue. And the reason is that because mechanically induced bone remodeling by orthoforces also are time dependent. Local anesthesia, like many other FDA-approved medications, local anesthesia efficacy and toxicity are time dependent. 2 clinical trials were included in this review and reported prolonged and profound local anesthesia was achieved when injected in the afternoon. This is especially interesting and useful for long root canal treatment appointments and manual oral surgeries. In conclusion, chronotherapy applications in dentistry have shown favorable outcomes, especially in head and neck cancer treatments. While animal trials and orthodontic tooth movements reveal promising results, human clinical trials are still lacking. Finally, I'd like to thank everybody for listening today. Also like to thank my supervisors, Dr. Belinda Nicolau and Faleh Tamimi, for their support. And finally, I'd like to thank my friend and colleague, Mohammed Tamimi, for his help. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mohammed. And that was an excellent presentation. I'd now like to open the floor for questions. We have about a minute. We can take a question, or if you have any questions, you can put in chat and I can moderate it. So I would just like to say that this is a very new topic to me, and I really enjoyed learning about it. I have not heard about it much, so I think definitely getting first pass through scoping review is really useful to understand some pieces.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's move to our next speaker. Our next speaker is Sonam Ben Patel. She's going to present, her topic is developing a deep learning model to diagnose dental caries. Sonam Ben, could you share your screen? I have made you a co-host, you should be able to.
Yes. Hello, good morning, everyone. Okay, are you guys able to see my presentation?
Not yet.
Not yet. Can you see my screen or no? Now?
Still
When you
not.
click share screen, you should be able to see some options come up of the presentation and then just click on that file.
Okay. Yes. So once I click the share screen, should I click the entire screen or just the windows?
You should just click the name of the file that you're sharing, ideally.
But I couldn't see here. Sorry.
If you have a monitor, sometimes it's on the other screen.
No, I'm not using
Okay.
it. Okay. I don't know the problem, but I can able to see my PPT here.
Try sharing the full screen and see if that works.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing here. Still, you cannot see my full screen as well.
Not yet.
Okay. I don't know then what's the problem. I share my whole screen here.
Sonam, I'm putting my email address in the chat. Do you want to share it to me and then I can try? Meanwhile, folks, you can take a look at Sonam's abstract in our presentation guide and start from there, and we can see if we can get this back.
Yes. I'm ready whenever you will just send me an email.
Okay, I just added my email in the chat. So see if you can send it to me and I can try open it.
Okay, thank you.
Getting our tech support to join as well.
Okay, perfect. It's good. We have a couple extra minutes today, so sorry about the technical challenge, but hopefully we'll get back on time in a minute.
She's a co-host, correct?
Yeah, she is.
Okay.
Okay, I have sent it to the email.
Again, everybody, if you want to take a look at the abstract in the presentation section, please take your time to take a look at that. Meanwhile, as soon as I get it, I'll try to upload it.
Eric, my colleague, is on and will help you some and share your screen.
Sent an email, so let me know if you were able to see.
Okay, so can you go ahead and try sharing your screen now?
Yep.
I have got your presentation. If you want, I can go ahead and share it.
Yes, please.
Okay. Okay. Somebody has taken on the host role, so I'm no longer host.
Yeah, I'll make you the host again.
Okay. Let me know, Sonam, whenever you're ready to scroll, and I'll move it along. We got 6 minutes to present, so let's start.
All right, thank you so much. And I'm really sorry about this technical difficulty. Okay, so let's start off with the presentation. My topic is developing a deep learning model to diagnose the dental caries. And as you know, I am from the University of Texas School of Dentistry from Houston. So let's go to the next slide. This is the outline of my today's presentation. Next slide, please. So hypothesis of my study is advanced computer vision algorithm backed by the deep learning can provide the highly accurate diagnosis of the caries lesion comparatively with the other dentists. So objective is the developing a deep convolutional neural network for the diagnosis of the dental caries using the intraoral radiographic images, including mostly bite wings and the perioapical. For the method, we have used total 362 perioapical and bite wing radiographs from 62 patients, and 769 annotation of the caries are available. So for the database, we have separated that total number of the annotated images into the training data set and the validated data set and the testing data set. So first of all, we separate that testing data set, that is 10% of the total annotated images, just to check the evaluation of the model performance. And we fed this training data set, that is the 80% of our total images, to help the model to learn like how the things work. So we have to train the model, that is the CNN model, to actually learn that how to pick up that caries lesion and the tooth outline, and then whatever we have annotated manually. And the validation data set, that which is 10% that we use after the training to check like how well the model learned to pick up those things. Next slide, please. So this is the flow chart, like how our model works. The first is the input image, that is the radiograph of the patient. Then the first step we do is image pre-processing by doing heat map generation and image resizing. Then we fed those images to the model for the training and using the attention unit, which is one kind of CNN model. And the last is the model's output image. Next slide, please. So as I said, the image pre-processing, for that we generate the heat map that actually helps the model to learn and pick up the better features, because this heat map image, the red area which you saw, it indicates the higher intensity area, and the lower intensity area which shows the blue in color. So it helps the model to learn those features better than compared to just black and white image. So that's why we generate the heat map image, and we have to augment those images to for the generalization of the model development. So that way we rotate the image, we flip the image, we cut it, and we distort the images. So that way models know like there are some images also distorted, and they also can accept it as the input images. Also, we do resizing images just to make all the imaging to the uniform size, because we cannot give the variable input images to the model for the training purpose. Next slide, please. So this is the convolutional neural network that we had used for this project. This CNN can detect the smaller pattern from the data or imaging. It can be used for the genetic data or like the medical image analysis. For this project, we had used the deep convolutional neural network, which means by it has a several hidden layers in between the input image and the output image. There are also other kind of like the shallow CNN available, which has a like less amount of the hidden layers, but the performance value of this deep convolutional neural network is very well compared to the other network. So this is the most successful of any other AI currently using in the image recognition field. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is the image of the attention unit, which is also one kind of the CNN. And as you, why it is called the attention unit? Because as you see, the shape here is like U shape, and if you see the right side of the U and the left side of the U, so the left side of the U is the encoder part and the right side is the decoder part. So as you go down from the left side, as you go down and down, the image is like squeezing in a smaller and smaller size. And as you go from the right side, the image is coming back or resizing back to its original size. So that way it helps the models to learn and detect that smaller patterns and find out those features while going from input to the output layers. And also attention unit works well compared to others because it has the soft attention get in between, and it helps to suppress all the other extra information and reduces the transfer of that redundant features. So it basically removes all the unnecessary information passing from left side to the right side. Next slide, please. And this slide shows of like how the model performance. So the first is image of the patient's radiograph. The second, ground truth, means the whatever the annotation we have done manually, and the third is the model prediction, the model's results. So as you can see, both the ground truth and the predictions are pretty close. And in the last image you see on the right side, the last one, it can also detect like multiple carries at the same time. So here, whatever you see, like the white spot and the black area, the model also, if the model can predict that white as in white and black as in black, that means it's a true positive result. So can you go to the next slide, please? Yes, so here in the next, like if you see in the table, the yes means the actual image showing yes, and models also predict as in yes, like the 0 as in 0, the black as in black, and 1 as in 1 means white as in white. So they both are saying yes. And what is the yes no means? The original image is yes, but the model predict as in no. And the whatever the total number is, the total amount of the pixels in each images. And so that way we have, we evaluated this all the results between clinician A and clinician B, and we got the value very high. So specifically, if we calculate the AUC to visualize the performance of the multi-class classification problem, the value score above 0.99 indicates the outstanding result. Same with the sensitivity and specificity value. So with the conclusion, next slide, and that is my last slide, that CNN can be used as an diagnostic tool and assisting the dentist for more comprehensive and systemic and faster evaluation of the dental images. And it encouraged this CNN network that is improving the accuracy of the caries detection based on all the intraoral radiographic imaging. So this is all about my presentation. Thank you for your time and thank you for your patience. I also would like to thank all my faculty and supporting mentor for this project.
Thank you so much, Sonam, and thank you everybody for your patience through this, for the technical glitches. Again, sorry about that. We are on time, so we'll move to the next presentation. But if you have any questions, please put them in the chat so Sonam can answer through them. And in the end, if we have time, we can take them online as well. So our next presenter is Bridget Samuels. She's going to present on dental, oral, and craniofacial tissue regeneration consortium. Bridget, please take it.
Okay, does my share look correct? Great.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm here today presenting on behalf of the leadership of the Dental, Oral, and Craniofacial Tissue Regeneration Consortium, or DOCTRC. I have no conflict of interest to declare. We're grateful for the support of the NIDCR through the award numbers listed here. The DOCTRC was established in March 2017 through cooperative agreements with the NIDCR, with the objective of developing resources and strategies to regenerate damaged or injured dental, oral, and craniofacial tissues. The DOCTRC initiative was designed to shepherd new therapies through preclinical studies and into human clinical trials, commercialization, and broad clinical adoption. Our ultimate goal is to regenerate damaged tissues, including bone, muscle, nerve, skin, and other soft tissues, the TMJ, periodontal tissues, salivary glands, and tooth structures. Through the DOCTRC program, 2 National Resource Centers, or RCs, were founded. the Center for Dental, Oral, and Craniofacial Tissue and Organ Regeneration, or CDOCTOR, which involves universities and hospitals across California, and the Michigan Pittsburgh Weiss Regenerative Medicine RC, or MPWRM. Together, we've built an integrated nationwide network of partners, including scientists and clinicians with a broad spectrum of relevant specialties, experts in regulatory science, manufacturing and commercialization, and much more. We're guided by a joint external advisory board. A great deal of effort goes towards recruiting and supporting interdisciplinary translational project teams, or ITPs, for the program. These innovative teams not only receive funding, but get comprehensive support for the preclinical development of their technologies, culminating in successful filings with the FDA and then onward to clinical trials. We support the full spectrum of preclinical development activities, either through our core resources or contracting them out to trusted vendors. In order to get a new product ready for clinical trials, there's a lot of work to be done, including animal safety and efficacy studies, prototyping and manufacturing scale-up, toxicology, biocompatibility, packaging and sterilization, transitioning to GLP and GMP procedures, figuring out whether they want to launch a startup or license the technology, and on and on. Funding actual clinical trials is beyond our mandate, but we're very active in helping teams to find other funding sources and cultivate potential corporate partners. Building on the experience of our leadership team and on lessons we've learned as we've scaled up the consortium, we've developed best practices, guidance documents, nationwide collaborative infrastructure, a vast clinician network, and scalable pipelines that can be emulated by other programs, for example, for other areas of regenerative medicine. Support from the DocTRC goes far beyond just dollars. We also host outreach activities and training opportunities to grow the program and train future leaders who adopt a truly translational mindset to advance regenerative medicine and dentistry. Currently, the consortium supports a total of 20 active ITPs at different stages of maturity. They address a wide range of unmet clinical needs in the dental, oral, and craniofacial spaces using drugs, devices, biologics, and combination products. We measure the success of our ITP teams as meeting their project-specific milestones and passing predefined go, no-go gates, successful interactions with the FDA, advancing to clinical trials, and attracting additional funding to support further development and commercialization activities. We measure the success of our consortium on building a sustainable pipeline of resources that can accelerate the progress of our ITP teams, as well as other tissue engineering and regenerative therapies in the future. I won't have time to go over this, but both RCs had a very productive year in 2021. We hosted several educational and outreach events. Our more mature teams are publishing papers, winning prizes, attracting awards, and gearing up for clinical trials. And we've onboarded several new teams as well. Looking to the future, we'll continue building to a sustainable future for regenerative dentistry by using efficient mechanisms to de-risk projects and deliver them the support they need to bridge the valley of death between bench and bedside. We're continually working to expand our outreach and to contribute to the training of future leaders with a translational mindset to revolutionize clinical practice in the dental, oral, and craniofacial arenas. If you'd like to learn more, we warmly welcome you to our upcoming meetings and seminars. Teams with products under development who might benefit from consultation with our professional networks can apply for MPWRM's Translational Research Consult Program, which accepts new teams on a rolling basis, or for the ITP program, which will issue a new RFP in the coming months. We're also always eager to have new advisors and corporate partners join us, which can take a number of different forms. You can find out about all of this at our website, doctrc.org. Thank you for your time, and I'd be happy to take whatever questions we have time for.
Thank you so much for an excellent presentation. The floor is open for questions. If you have any questions and would like to put it in the chat, that's another way to do it, but we are a small group. So if you would like to unmute yourself and ask it directly, that will work too. Thank you, Bridget, for sharing excellent kind of work. And definitely this team science and teamwork has been one of the bigger areas developing. So it's great to see in the dental world, especially kind of coming together and doing this sort of work. So let's go to the next presentation, which is me. And I'm going to take you to a different area now. It's about HPV vaccination. And I'm going to share my screen. So I'm going to talk about moving from cervical cancers to oropharyngeal cancers and discussing HPV research in rural communities. My work is concentrated in medical dental integration and access to care and use of preventive services. So just a little bit of background before we jump into the project itself. Human papillomavirus is a very common virus, causes multiple different types of cancers. The infection goes out by most of the time, it clears off automatically, but in some cases it lingers around, and in that situation, it can lead to some cancer. Some of the strains are risky. And so approximately 36,000 cancer cases are caused by HPV in US alone. And the 70% of the most common cancers are cervical cancers, oropharyngeal cancers, and there are 4 more types, but 90% of cervical cancers overall are caused by HPV, and 70% of oropharyngeal cancers are caused by HPV. There's availability of HPV vaccine, which is safe, effective, and has been proven to provide a long-lasting protection, and has been routinely recommended for both boys and girls. And now even more age group, the common age group to receive vaccine is 11 to 12 years, but now it has been expanded up to 45 years. And then in 2020, the major indication for the vaccination was for cervical cancer prevention, but now it has also added, the FDA has also added oropharyngeal cancer prevention as one of its indication. So HPV vaccine, effective, available, everything, and can prevent up to 90% of cancers from ever developing. So if we do the math, it's about like 33,000 less cancers if people are vaccinated adequately, and then it means 12,000 less oropharyngeal cancers. However, the vaccine uptake is very suboptimal, and given the pandemic, that has not increased much. So moving to the topic, I'm going to share some information about Virginia specific, the state where I live, and the work where we have done, and then also share some of the statistics on it, which shows here, if you see on the graph, you'll see how much is the vaccination rate. So compared to Tdap, which is a common vaccine for adolescent, the vaccination rate for HPV is quite low, 90% compared to like around somewhere averaged out 50%. It differs between males and females. As you see, for 2020, it was 64% for females and 48% for males. And then this is overall a state information. But if you look on this left-hand side, you will see how it differs a lot by geography. So counties and zip code level, if we see vaccination rates are very different. And so in our study, we looked at these 3 counties here in the center to see what are the reasons for low vaccination rate in these counties. So our study objectives were to examine the knowledge about HPV and HPV vaccine in context of cancer, exploring parents' perception about dental provider role. The study is funded by the NCI and the P30 supplement. So this study was a mixed method study. We did the study in these 3 counties and surveyed parents who had children between 9 to 17 years old our total sample was 362 after cleaning. We asked several questions in different domains and asked about perceptions about the role of dental care provider in HPV vaccination, and did analysis at multiple levels to examine the results. Here is the sample description. Majority of them were between 36 to 45 years of age. I'll not go through all of them, but this shows how the sample looked like in these 3 counties, which are rural in nature. So the first one, or the 3 questions about knowledge, where we asked about if HPV can cause any type of cancers, if HPV vaccines can offer protection against cervical cancers, and if people knew that HPV vaccines can offer protection against most oropharyngeal cancers. And you see the results here. The knowledge is about, for any cancer is 56%, but the knowledge about oropharyngeal cancer is only 33%. Then we asked a couple questions about if they were comfortable with dentist or any dental provider discussing HPV vaccine, recommending HPV vaccine, and receiving HPV vaccine. So we found there was some differences. Discussing and recommendation was approximately 60% same, but comfort in receiving vaccine from a dental provider was a little bit low, about at 55%, but still majority of them were comfortable doing so. So here are the results of regression. Our outcomes were comfort variable, which is comfort discussing, recommending, and comfort receiving. And our knowledge variables were our exposures, along with the other covariates that I showed you in the first characteristics table. And we see that among those who had vaccine knowledge that HPV vaccine can prevent oropharyngeal cancer, had higher comfort of receiving recommendation, as well as comfort in receiving the vaccine. So it shows that if you know about it, you are more comfortable discussing it. The other cervical cancer knowledge was another area which was also found to be significant in that. So for discussion, from this results, what we know is that the knowledge about vaccine is really low, both about HPV and HPV vaccine is low in rural communities, and especially about oropharyngeal cancers. So that is the area where there's a huge gap. But parents are open and comfortable discussing HPV vaccine and even receiving HPV vaccine from dental care provider. So it is important for us as a research community, so as to translate this and improve vaccination rates, that parents are educated and the importance of vaccine is highlighted, not only for cancer prevention, but specifically also for oropharyngeal cancer prevention, because that is now one of the most fast growing cancer in this HPV area. Even the numbers are growing more than cervical cancer. So therefore, there's a high need to improve knowledge and education among these groups. So here I'd like to acknowledge my collaborators, my research assistant and study participants, and here's my contact information. I'm happy to take any question for maybe a minute or one question if it's possible. Thank you. Again, if you have any question and if you would like to put it in a chat, that would be, we can use them later part of the discussion, or the presenters can answer them. For any of the presenters, if you have it, please add them in the chat. Okay, hearing none, let's move to the next presenter. Our next presenter is Nazila Amili. She'll be presenting us on analyzing patient information with machine learning techniques to improve dental outcomes. Nazila, can you? Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Good morning. Okay, good morning. Hi, everyone. I'm Nazila, and I'm the second year PhD student at the Faculty of Medicine and Dentistry, University of Alberta. And it is a great pleasure for me to have the opportunity to present my work. Dental records, known as patient charts, are legal documents that provide detailed information of patients' oral health history, including demographics, clinical, medical, radiographic findings, corresponding diagnosis, and treatment planning. Accurate records and access to such information are necessary for dentists to adequately monitor patients' oral and systemic health. Although many dentists have traditionally employed paper patient charts in their practice, an increasing number of dentists are utilizing electronic records to collect patient clinical data. Electronic records are often cited as advantageous due to their storage capacity, accessibility, ease of information retrieval, and time efficiency. In addition to providing electronic options for creating and storing patient records, technological advances in computerized systems generate new opportunities to enhance patient care through the application of artificial intelligence, or AI, and machine learning, or ML, which is a subset of AI techniques that enable computers to learn from and identify relationships within data in different ways based on the specific algorithm used. Here is a list of advantages of application of AI and ML technique for practitioners, health system, and patients. In dentistry, AI methods are also being applied to diagnose patients and treatment planning, such as identify patients at risk of oral cancer. However, despite the important role that oral health-related factors play in dentist diagnosis and treatment planning process, the use of ML techniques as a method to review chart information and these contributors has not yet been studied. So according to the valuable information patient charts hold and the functions they state, the purpose of this study was to introduce an automated method of reviewing patient chart information using ML and demonstrate this method's ability to identify predictive relationships between patient chart information and important oral health-related outcomes. We conducted a secondary data analysis on 785 patient charts referred to a private dental clinic from 2017 to 2020, and the charts were collected in the initial visit and contained raw text files of patients' medical and dental history, clinician notes that indicated clinical findings, including intra and extraoral findings, radiographic findings, and suggested treatment plans. Then we analyzed the anonymized chart data in 3 phases using the following steps. Text mining and data preprocessing. Text mining is an ML technique for quick extraction of key information from vast quantities of textual data. It is appropriate for patient chart data as it is useful for analyzing large data sets to extract latent or unknown patterns in the data to create comprehensible information. To do so, we first separated the radiographic findings and suggested treatment planning from the chart data for future topic modeling purposes in later phases, and the remaining components were compiled into our programming environment. It was then transformed into one long narrative text called corpus using the appropriate command and was cleaned for further analysis. At the next step, we broke up the cleaned corpus into separate words called tokens using the tokenization commands in our programming. And to prepare the tokenized data for analysis, we created a matrix of the tokens. The rows were determined by the number of patient charts, which was 785, and the columns were determined based on the information collected in patient charts. Finally, the matrix was exported as a CSV file format. 10 column headings were selected as outcome variables at random to demonstrate the modeling aspect of the study. Selected outcome variables were caries risk, occlusal risk, periodontitis, dental crowding, gingivitis, muscle tenderness, biomechanical risk, gingival recession, bruxism, and assisted mouth opening. We then changed the 10 selected outcome variables with an ordinal scale to prepare them for ordinal logistic regression analysis. To do topic modeling, which is an ML technique that utilizes a statistical analysis to extract underlying information from a collection of unextracted documents, we extracted topic based on a probabilistic model, which determines the most frequent co-occurring words over all documents. We selected LDA as an appropriate method to extract salient information from these charts. We completed LDA on 2 cleaned texts from each patient, radiographic findings, and suggested treatments. And here is the packages in the R programming that we use for topic modeling. And these are the metrics that we use for determining the number of topics for both radiographic findings and treatment plans.
And finally, the third step was data analytics. After topic modeling was completed, both the topics and variables from text mining were used to find the predictors for various oral health outcomes that were chosen at random through ordinal logistic regression. First, OLR was used to identify significant predictors for each oral health outcome, and next, artificial neural network analysis was completed to determine both the predictability of the model and the most important predictors among those significant variables. And here is the common topics with their 5 most frequent terms for radiographic topics and treatment plan ones. And OLR analysis found that all studied oral health outcomes were significantly predictable using various information recorded in patient charts. For example, caries risk, night guard use, mild gingivitis, normal salivary flow, and structural integrity of the teeth. And also left side class 2 canine relationship are significant predictors for occlusal risk. Also, ANN analysis showed that the model can make more than 72% correct prediction for 8 out of 2 evaluated features, except for dental crowding and bruxism. And here is the result for our selected variables, which show the significant predictors for all 10 oral health outcomes. And here is the ANN analysis for occlusal risk and its most important predictor, which was found to be the biomechanic risk or structural integrity of the teeth. This study's proposed method can help meet the dental field's need for data-enabled innovation and create new areas of research in dental analytics. ML techniques such as text mining, topic modeling, and ordinal logistic regression, or ANN, are well suited for application within the dental practice context and present substantial value through their ability to improve timely access to pertinent patient information and identify important predictors or contributors to oral health outcomes. Such techniques can be also applied to other health-related fields that record patient information as large amounts of unstructured text, such as medicine. And the authors have no conflict of interest to declare, and there was no funding received for this study. Thanks for your attention. Any comments or questions?
Thank you so much, Nazila, for excellent presentation and introducing this topic and sharing your work. The floor is open for questions for Nazila, and then also if you have any questions for any of the presenters, we can take them now. Hearing none and seeing none in the chat, I would like to thank everybody for attending today's presentations, and would like to thank all the presenters for sharing their excellent work and being here and giving the information about their projects. Last call for the questions. If none, then we will close this meeting, and I look forward to meeting you all sometime, but have a wonderful rest of the meeting to you all. Thank you. Okay, so Yehuda, we just closed the meeting and there's nothing else to do for us, right?
Yeah, I think you're all set.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.